North Korean defector's stomach full of nasty parasites. The contents of a recent North Korean defector's stomach paint a hopeless picture of what life is really like inside the Hermit Kingdom. The North Korean border guard was shot several times while fleeing across the demilitarized zone to South Korea last week. Medical staff treating the defector say they found numerous parasites inside his body. Several of these were removed from his digestive tract, including one 27-centimeter-long roundworm. They were likely caused by farming practices in the north where human excrement is used for fertilizer due to a lack of chemical fertilizer. Known as night soil, this practice is notorious for spreading parasites and disease. And that god-awful practice was championed by this guy. And he's full of it. Very full. Going north.
North Korea's military might. With tensions ramping up on the Korean peninsula, perhaps it's time to assess just exactly what kind of heat Kim Jong-un is packing. According to The Telegraph, North Korea is believed to have more than 1,000 missiles of varying ranges. North Korea's short and long-range missiles can strike South Korea and Japan. Washington says Pyongyang is also developing a missile that will be capable of reaching the continental United States. North Korea is estimated to have enough plutonium to build as many as 6 nuclear bombs. Experts say it will take North Korea up to 10 years to fit a nuclear warhead to a missile capable of reaching the US. North Korea is believed to be able to make most kinds of chemical weapons. South Korea says the DPRK also has biological weapons, but it is unclear if they are ready for the battlefield. Military service is mandatory in North Korea for men and women, and the army has more than 1 million troops. The army relies on outdated Soviet tanks. The Navy has more than 70 submarines and 3 frigates. Most North Korean Air Force planes are outdated Chinese fighter jets, although it does have a small number of more modern Russian-built jets. The cyber warfare threat from North Korea is centered around an organization called Bureau 121, which boasts up to 6,000 hackers. Most of its attacks are targeted at South Korea. So that's the kind of hardware Kim Jong-un has at his fingertips. Let's just hope he brings an end to all this military madness before people get hurt. How would the US military fight North Korea? As tensions continue to mount on the Korean peninsula with no side backing down, the US has threatened a massive military response to any potential North Korean nuclear attack. But what would that look like? The US would likely deploy large groups of its Navy and Air Force to Japan, Okinawa, and Guam to bolster military presence there. A Stratfor analyst told Business Insider that they'd also possibly maneuver submarines and ships closer to the north and target nuclear facilities through airstrikes. Helicopter-deployed buoys would listen for North Korean submarines, which could then be destroyed by more advanced American underwater craft. Experts reckon the US would not invade, but rather defend South Korea as the North Korean army charges the border. This scenario would also see US Special Forces parachuting into strategic locations around Pyongyang for surgical strikes. If, in the extremely unlikely scenario, North Korea strikes Guam or another US territory or ally with a nuclear strike, the US has the option to respond via land, sea, or air. Most agree that the resulting American retaliation would lay waste to Pyongyang and kill thousands, if not millions. Or, Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump could just simply step into the octagon and see what happens. North Korea now has nuke that fits its missiles. US President Donald Trump is warning North Korea of fire and fury after a Washington Post report revealed Pyongyang has produced miniaturized warheads. A U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency report says North Korea has successfully created a miniaturized warhead for its intercontinental ballistic missiles. The country now has missiles that reportedly range between 180 to 7,200 miles. The agency report also estimates that North Korea has up to 60 nuclear warheads in its arsenal. Russia and the United States still have the largest number of nuclear warheads in the world, estimated at 7,000 and 6,800 respectively. North Korea conducted 2 ICBM tests last month, showing off the potential to hit most of the continental US. In response, the United Nations imposed the toughest sanctions yet on North Korea, a move that was praised by President Trump. However, North Korea said the sanctions would not stop it from developing nuclear weapons and has threatened to make the US pay the price. Everything you need to know about North Korea's latest nuclear test. North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un took a break from not pooping at the weekend to make some boom boom. Big boom boom. On Sunday, September 3rd, North Korea conducted its sixth and most powerful nuclear test at the underground Pungguri nuclear test facility. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the underground explosion resulted in a 6.3 magnitude earthquake. Estimates put its explosive yield at 120 kilotons. For comparison, the little boy bomb dropped on Hiroshima in 1945 had a yield of 15 kilotons. The recent North Korean test was 8 times stronger than that. But it's just over a third of the power of the recently tested U.S. remote-controlled nuclear bomb, the B-61-12. That holds a maximum yield of 340 kilotons. Meet the Castle Bravo. This had an explosive yield of 15,000 kilotons when it was tested in 1954. It's the most powerful American bomb to ever be tested, but it's not the strongest. This is the Tsar Bomba. This Soviet super nuke was tested in 1961 and had a blast yield of 50,000 kilotons. That's 400 times stronger than North Korea's latest test. But don't think that makes the North any less dangerous, because turning a test bomb into a deliverable nuclear payload is quite the challenge, and it looks like the North might already be there. There is speculation this weekend's test bomb will form the warhead component of the Hwasong-14, North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missile. This ICBM can reportedly hit Alaska. Over the weekend, the United States threatened a massive military response against the use of such a weapon against the US or its allies. Interestingly, President Trump is considering stopping trade with any country that does business with North Korea, aka China, because without the People's Republic's support, the North Korean regime would collapse.